is really doing this to me again. Oh boy, hold on a minute. It's not even letting me edit my own video to change the stuff I need to change. So now I have to go here. Where is my video?
Okay. All right.
I'm so freaking lost. There, you guys are here, so I know there's going to be a video somewhere. Hang on.
Donna, Kathy, Aguilin, Mary Kim, Shari.
This is beyond strange.
Live on the Move.
I see the video, but it's not letting me edit it.
April, hi.
Did this once before because it keeps opening, I think, in instead of.
Okay, listen to
Hang
you,
on.
not off. Okay. Pink is my RX. Hi, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing?
And I've got it now. My other video
Boys, hi.
that it kept bringing to me before, you don't even know what's been going on, is opening, but I can't find my live video. Hang on one second, because I have to change the age in here. Yeah, somebody's messaging me. Probably telling me you have 15 lives open. Oh, here, and now I found it. Okay. All right. Okay, what else do I have to change in here? I want to change the whatchamacallit? The thumbnail. Oh shoot. Okay. I just have to just change this thing here so people know what we're doing. Oh, no, that's not right. Oh my gosh, this is, forget it, I'll have to change it later. It's not going to let me do it now. All right. Sorry. Okay, so Lisa, Donna, Carla, Lele, Aries Girl, Mary Kim, Miss Mary, Deb on the Move, Sakura, yeah, congratulations on your new kitties. Tabby, how many did you have? I just saw something real flash, like crazy. I didn't even get to check it out. Susan, Kim, Kathy from Texas, Linda, Rhonda, Winter, Gianna, Louisiana Lady, Deb on the Move, Flower Girl, Kathy, Jokano, Mystery Truth Seeker, Vala, Tamlin, Michael, how are you? Whisper to me. Hey there, girl. Roya, Carla, Janadu, Miss Mary, Mary Beth, Peggy K, Adri, Sarah, hello there. Carol Boyce. Oh, you got an echo? Do you really? Hold on a minute. Oh no, that was probably when I had the two videos playing. You shouldn't have it anymore, right? Happy birthday, Kathy from Texas. Happy birthday. Where's Apple Snapple? Nanette, how are you? Got Carla, Ivy Lynn, hi there. Vala, Elise. Let's see. Gigi, how are you? Jenny D. Oh no, really? For number 3? Do you mean 3 or the third one that was born? Do you mean you lost 3 or you lost the third one? I hope you didn't lose 3. Do you have one of those tiny little baby bottles that they sell at the store to feed them? Humpty Dumpty's broken pieces. Hi there, Al Jackson. Jesse. Baby number 3 was born shortly after 9 and died. Oh, the 2 older. So, okay. You had 3 and you lost number 3. Oh, that's sad. Hopefully the other 2 pull through and get big and healthy. Prayers for them. Kai, yeah, we put your gavel up there on the video. Hi, Pat, Earthbound, Kathy, Wampus, Apple Snapple, Kathy from Texas. It's her birthday. We were looking for you. Sherry Lynn, Patricia, Jesse. I got you, Jesse, right? Okay, if I missed you, it's not Sage Tree, it's not Kim Mills, Kathy, Joker? How you doing, Joker? Hey, Captain Katie. All right, so I hope I got, Kara, Jeanette, and had it all right. So, all right. If I didn't get you, I see you too. Lisa H. I think I missed the mods. Sharon. That's really nice. Yeah, because I don't. Okay. All right. So let's go with the Alicia. There you are. Let's go with the new updates today. Well, first let's go to something that, hi Roya, something that was, that happened a long time ago, but I think from when I mentioned it today, a lot of you either forgot it, which is what I think I did, or you never heard it before in your life. So before we go to that, now where did I have it here? Is that my other, hold on, I've got 2. Oh my goodness. I watched the Jeffrey Epstein special on ABC too with Jimmy. Oh, and it was so funny. Then he saw the Fotis Dulos thing, and he goes, this is right after you watched Jeffrey Epstein. So they had, you're thinking like the president's on there. So he says to me, hey, you know what? They made a big mistake letting Fotis go with Fotis and his girlfriend. And I didn't know who he was talking, Fotis, he said. I said, Jimmy, why are you mentioning the First Lady? what are you talking about? He goes, I'm mentioning the guy and his girlfriend. I said, you said Fotis. That's the First Lady of the United States. That's what. So then he goes, no, Fotis, the guy Fotis. So I said, do you mean Fotis? Yeah. You're going to watch. They made a big mistake letting that guy go. I said, okay. And he says, yeah, so that was Jimmy's, but I was laughing so hard because he said Fotis. And I'm thinking, like, what is he talking about? Anyway, yeah. So Fotis. But where was I going with that? Okay, I don't know where I was. I was going to say, did any of you watch the other thing? But I've got to get his mother's thing here, okay? This was the one, right? Hold on. Okay, so here's the thing about I'm now going to call him Fotis. Fotis's mother. Nearly 9 years before Jennifer was reported missing, the family endured another tragedy when Fotis's mother was killed in a freak accident in their driveway. So this 77-year-old woman was run over. She died in 2010 after being run over by a Land Rover driven by the family's 24-year-old nanny when they were living in Avon, Connecticut, okay? So the accident happened at about 7 p.m. in the driveway of their Deer Cliff Road. Now remember, Deer Cliff Road is where, what's his name? In the affidavit was going. He went back to Deer Cliff Road. Remember his website? There's a place in Deer Cliff Road, on Deer Cliff Road. So it happened around 7 p.m. in the driveway of a Deer Cliff Road home where the Doulos family was living at the time. An investigation by the Avon Police Department determined Cleopatra, that was his mother's name but with a K, Doulos' death was not a criminal event and no arrests were made. Cleopatra had asked the nanny to move the parked Land Rover near the garage so it would be easier for her and a young child to get inside the vehicle. At the time, Cleopatra had a broken arm from an earlier fall. As the nanny moved the vehicle, Cleopatra asked her to turn on the vehicle's headlights. The driver then looked down towards the instrument panel to engage the headlights, this police report said, okay? As this was occurring, what happened? Cleopatra was standing by the nose of the vehicle, bent forward to see when the headlights would come on. It's kind of weird, okay, but yeah, that's what she was doing, okay? The vehicle was moving forward in this span of time, and as the driver's view was momentarily oriented away from Mrs. Dulos there, she was likely not aware of Mrs. Dulos's proximity to the nose of the vehicle. According to the accident report, the nanny told police, I assumed Cleopatra had moved far away from the vehicle, but apparently she had fallen down next to the vehicle and out of my sight. I pulled forward and heard one of the children scream from the back seat. Oh my gosh, these poor children have been so traumatized. Can you even imagine? When police arrived, they found Cleopatra alert and conscious. but she was in extreme pain. The report said it was apparent she was run over. Due to her injuries and tire marks across her lower back and clothing, poor woman, she later died at St. Francis Hospital in Hartford. Fotis Dulos said he was in Italy at the time of the accident. He told police his mother had a severe accident in July of 2010 when she fell down a flight of stairs. This sounds like another Peterson case. Among her injuries were a cracked head, internal bleeding, and a broken arm. Jennifer Doulos told police Cleopatra complained of feeling dizzy as recently as the day before the accident. The report said Fotis Dulos told police he had no reason to suspect that the incident was anything but an accident. 7 years after the accident, Jennifer Doulos filed for divorce. She and her 5 children then moved to a house on Wellis Lane in New Canaan. Much of the often fierce divorce battle with her husband, Fotis, was centered around the custody of their children, who are between the ages of 8 and 13, including two pairs of twins. While the divorce is still in litigation, Jennifer has been awarded physical custody of the children after a judge last year found Fotis to be an unhealthy influence on the children. The couple had been married for 14 years. So she had 2 sets of twins, so she had 5 kids with 3 pregnancies, right? Yes, 2, 4. Yeah, okay. She must have been, I think she was much older. She must have been, I would say she was taking fertility drugs, or she was, had IVF or intrauterine insemination, would be my guess. That's just my guess. So let me see here now. So I just want to go back to the chat and see what you guys think about this accident. What do you guys? And you're not too late. We're just talking. We didn't get to the. We're just talking about his mother's death in the driveway. What do you think about his mother's? What do you think about his mother? It's with a K, Doug. It's Cleopatra with a K. Can someone ask Carolyn if she knows who Hilary Doulos is? Not offhand. But okay, so let's talk about Cleopatra now. What do you guys think about that? Not an accident, Linda says. I wonder if he's tied to it. What I want to find out. Oh, check the emails. Okay, well, Apple. What I want to find out, the 24-year-old nanny, Liz. But prior to that, this woman fell down an entire flight of stairs, cracked her head, internal bleeding, broke her arm. It sounds really weird. It sounds like another staircase situation where they thought it was accidental when that lady fell, and then they started to look into it again. She's either a really, really, unfortunately, unlucky woman, or what? And why would the children be in the car? Because they made it sound like one child was out, and then she's there, and she's bending down to look at the lights to see if they're turning on? Come on. If he was standing to inherit any money from her, then I'm even more suspicious of what happened there. Okay, now, bad luck? Okay, I have to get Apple Snapple's email, hang on. No, it's really weird. This case gets weirder and weirder and weirder. And Jimmy said they made a big mistake letting Fotis out. Fotis. Flo, we could call him Flo. Maybe that was his nickname. Okay. Okay, Kathy from Texas. Apple Snapple, the president of the Sunshine Committee of the Ramblers, has a special treat for you. Happy birthday, Kathy from Texas. And this says, this is P's note. So happy birthday, Kathy. And then Apple Snapple sent something that says P's note. Maybe you guys know what he's talking about. Thank you, Carolyn, and the moderators for all you do. Well, thank you, P's note. Okay, and we'll put Kathy's happy birthday up for a few more minutes. Hold on, I said it. Okay. All right. So yeah, I think there's something like really whacked with that. We have to look into if he was getting any money. What is the status of his father? He's probably deceased, since they don't mention him. And look at his family tree a little bit. We know there is an Andreas in Greece. And so, okay, let's go to the other news. Let me just see if there's any more comments from you guys about this. Yes, hang on, Kristen. You can look at, let me see. Okay. What do I have? Oh, where is the one I have? Okay, yeah, it's, you can look in this, is this the one? Right here. Hang on. Okay, that's got even some more information, but it does have the, you have to go down. Okay, now, I'm trying to get to the other thing. Okay. Just want to make sure before we get to this. Okay, the couple had been married for 13 years when Ms. Dulos initiated the divorce proceedings in June 2017. At the time, she immediately asked for an emergency order that would give her sole custody of the children, saying she worried that Mr. Doulos might hurt her or the children, or that he might kidnap the children and take them to Greece where he was raised. The prolonged legal battle brought mounting fees. Adding to the sum, Mr. Dulos was also involved in a lawsuit with the estate of Ms. Dulos's deceased father, Hillard Farber, that accused him of failing to pay back more than $1.5 million in business loans. See, his house in Farmington is being foreclosed on by his ex-mother-in-law. In the arrest warrant for Mr. Doulos, detectives used the cell phone records and surveillance footage to track Mr. Doulos from his home in Farmington to Ms. Doulos' home about 75 miles away. In the warrant, the police believe that Mr. Doulos borrowed a red Toyota truck from a work colleague on the day Mrs. Doulos was reported missing, and that he drove it to New Canaan with a bicycle in the back seat and parked about 100 feet from the spot where Ms. Doulos' car would later be discovered. Surveillance footage in New Canaan showed a man in a hoodie and dark-colored clothing riding a bicycle with his head down, right, similar to the one owned by Mr. Doulos, heading to Mrs. Doulos' house, where then he went in and just laid and wait for her to get back from dropping the kids off, where he then used zip ties to restrain her and killed her in some fashion in the garage of the home, and then cleaned up all of the blood, used camping pillows, used 10 rolls of paper towels, and then took her vehicle out. We know that he put her into the trunk because he took that Weather Tamer liner and he put it up against a building where we went Google mapping last night. Okay, so where was I? Please believe Mr. attacked us. She then, okay, he attacked her. It's happened between 8:05 and 10:25. And then he later took that truck, that Toyota, to be completely detailed in every way, washed. He put a different model, that it was a Sienna. He paid in cash for it. And then he asked Mr. Gummiani to go to a junkyard and pull seats for a Tacoma. Well, he couldn't find seats for a Tacoma, so then he switched them with old Porsche seats that he knew Fotis had. But instead of destroying and getting rid of the seats like Fotis told him, he put the Toyota seats in his garage, which he then showed the police, which they then took into, evidence, tested, and matched Jennifer's DNA on them. Let's see here. Now, the 5 children, we know they live with her mother in New York City, and he is not allowed to have any contact with them. He's out on bond today, so he's not allowed any contact. The only people he can have contact with is his lawyer, a doctor. He can go to church, and he can go to work on a case-by-case basis. It's going to be dependent on what type of work he can do, because I guess they're going to tell you he can't leave the state, he can't, he can't cross straight lines, so he's got a lot of restrictions on him, but he is out. Now, Michele got out, and she went directly to the hospital. She walked on her own accord. She wasn't taken by an ambulance. Her mother and her sister went to see her at the hospital. It appears that she is still in the hospital. They will not give the reason why she is in the hospital. I would say it's probably, who knows, anxiety or something, panic attacks, who knows what's going on now with that. So she's there, and let me see if I have any other news on her. Freak accident. And we're going to look at Mawhinney in a second here. Where's Michele's freak accident? Is this it? Oh, and Fotis's neighbors are very uneasy. The people that work in the towns are very uneasy with him being out. They interviewed them. I saw interviews on the local news stations. He posted his bond. He was released into police custody, and he got his GPS monitoring device back on. Attorney says that he's hopeful that Doulos will be, that they're going to get to work on this case now. And he spent his second night behind bars. The new motive presented by the state for why they think Fotis killed his wife Jennifer. They say he was $7 million in debt. Jennifer came from money. Their 5 kids. Jennifer is, I believe, her mother is the cousin or the niece. She's related to Liz Claiborne, if I'm correct there. She's related somehow closely through a first cousin or something to Liz Claiborne. So they come from a great deal of wealth. Jennifer's parents, they're the ones that lend Fotis, business loans, her late father. But the 5 kids had a trust fund, and if Jennifer were, to die, he would have had access to that fund. Now we know the state police seized that axe on Tuesday, and that's been sent to the crime lab for DNA testing. So we have Fotis had to come up with $600,000, and a bondsman had to be willing to bet $5.4 million of his own money that Doulos is not going to run. And his release, like I said, makes some of these neighbors very uneasy. They were quoted as saying, "We're in Farmington, so if he gets out, it's just, it's kind of in the back of our head." Yeah, definitely. Okay. I know that we are innocent until proven guilty, but there is so much damning evidence, it's kind of scary. This is what they said. That someone is so premeditative. So now, premeditated. Can't even talk. I can't talk now. Premeditative. Premeditated. What is wrong with me? Something wrong with me tonight. Says that this Amy of Farmington. So, they think it's premeditated. They think there's damning evidence, but if you listen to his attorney, there's no damning evidence. There's no body, there's no weapon, there's nothing at the crime scene to indicate Fotis. He doesn't think anything about what is there, him dropping off clothes. Yeah, I know it's like suspect, but it's not, it's not really, it's a circumstantial case, the lawyer said. No problem getting him off. Okay, and now we have some interesting stuff that we did not go over. We didn't get to go over it last night with Mawhinney, and that's what I want to go into his arrest warrant, because when we were reading the arrest warrant the other night, we just thought that they were all the same because they look, but there's a very important part of Mawhinney's in there that we've got to go over, and also some witness testimony that came out. But let's see. So I just want to say Troconis, hers was the only bail reduced to 1.5 million, right? She got her GPS, but she went, like I said, straight to the hospital, right in her yellow prison jumpsuit. And we don't know what's going on. Her family, including her sister and mother, have been standing by the courthouse ready to take her home, getting their chance, but surely not the way they hoped, so they headed off to the hospital after that. And yeah, nothing more on that. And then we have Mawhinney, remains behind bars, okay? And now neighbors are shocked when they learned of his involvement, okay? So he did not make his bond, and so he's still there. Fotis must be freaking, because this guy yesterday looked like he was going to come unglued. Even Jimmy said this guy's going to be singing like a canary before long. So a friend of Fotis Dulos and his one-time lawyer, Mawhinney, who is charged with conspiracy to commit murder, he was unable to post the $2 million bond Thursday. His request for a bond reduction was denied. Okay. Prosecutors say he was uncooperative with authorities. They had to arrest him at gunpoint. He was trying to run from them. They he was in a car. They stopped him. He was uncooperative. He knew that they were coming for him, and he was like hiding out, running around in a car and stuff. Now, one of his neighbors of South Windsor said the arrest is a shock. He said that is a shock, and most of us were all like stunned and still stunned. We are waiting to hear more news and more details of what's happening. Mawhinney is no stranger to police. In February 2019, he was arrested for spousal rape. Neighbors say he and his wife are going through a contentious divorce, but never heard anything out of the ordinary. There's always been kids around. We never heard anything happened, never that we could hear or see. Mawhinney's neighbor on Stevens Road in South Windsor said they always have block parties and they all know each other. We've been neighbors for quite a while. We've all done yard work with each other. We've helped each other when needed, you know. So it was a real shock with all this, and we're still trying to process it all. According to the police, Mawhinney founded, now this is the evidence. We'll go look at it in the arrest warrant, but he founded the Windsor Rod and Gun Club. 2 current members were hunting in May of 2019, the month that Jennifer Doulos went missing, within days of Jennifer's disappearance, and they found what they describe as a 100% human grave. And it had a tarp in it, bags of lime, and it had like barbecue grates on top of it. It was the size of a human grave. So these guys came across it, and when we read this thing, it is the strangest thing you've ever seen. I don't know. I just want to ask you, if you were out at a rod and gun club and you ran across something that looked like this, looked like you pulled the sticks and stuff off of it, you saw grates, you picked up the grates, you saw a tarp, you saw a dug grave, and you saw 2 bags of lime in it. Okay? Just wondering what would be your first thought. I'll have to go back to the chat for this one. What would be your first thought? Anyone? These guys said, we better think about who's missing. Somebody's probably going to bury her right here. A grave. Would you think, like, let me think about who's missing. It sounded like it was an everyday occurrence with these guys, okay? Like, this happens all the time. Let's just think about who's missing now, and then we'll know who dug the grave. Who's missing? It wasn't that like, wow, this is really bizarre. What the heck? Who would do that? Let's just think about who's missing, and we'll find, like, as if it's really happened before. Anyway, what happened was, when they went back, the lime was missing, and the tarp was missing, and everything was covered up. Okay, the ground was covered up. The grates were off of it. The ground was freshly covered up. So they brought cadaver dogs, nothing. Then they dug it up. Nothing was there. Okay? And the lime was missing and the tarp was missing. So you need lime. It was at a rod and gun club that he founded, and I'll explain. We'll go into more of that because it's highly suspect what he did. He didn't even have money anymore, even though he founded it, to belong to it. So he asked these guys, like, how can I get into this place? We'll explain it in a minute. Let's just finish this neighbor stuff, okay? So this neighbor says, you hope everything is just a coincidence. You know, if people were hunting there, maybe they were going to cook whatever they caught. Yeah, with 2 bags of lime and a tarp under there. Sure. It's hard to believe to make that connection, though. But this neighbor says he's waiting to see how it's all going to play out. He said you're still kind of wondering if it's real or not, and you know you're still kind of shocked. Okay, so it is so bizarre. So let's go to we're going to go now to his warrant, okay? Which is over here. Okay, I'm going to pull this warrant over on the screen. Oops, get over there. Hold on, I've got to pull it up on my screen here. I won't be able to read it. Let me enlarge it over here so you can read it. Okay. I'll be right back. I have to go do the... Oh my gosh, hold on. My other video is playing again. I don't know why. My other video keeps playing. Now it stopped. Okay. No, now it's playing somewhere. Hang on. It better be the charm because I'm getting really... Hang on. It better now be again I hear it. Because I'm getting really... This is crazy. Okay, now it's going to stop. Okay, good. This is... All right. Okay, so let's read this again. Kent Mawhinney is a close personal friend of Doulos and a practicing attorney who lives in South Windsor. His law practice is based in Bloomfield, Connecticut. Mawhinney's name appeared on the alibi scripts written by Doulos and Troconis. And he was identified by Troconis during all 3 of her interviews as a person present in the 4-group office. Remember, the 4-group office is at Fotis's residence, okay, in Farmington. On the morning of 5/24 for a meeting with Doulos, Mawhinney was interviewed on June 9th and then again on June 25th by detectives to obtain his personal knowledge of the events which transpired in the 4-group office located above the garage of Doulos' residence, and specifically any contact he may have had with Doulos, Troconis, or any other person on the day of Jennifer's disappearance. As with Troconis, Mawhinney's responses were frequently vague or evasive, at times self-contradictory, and otherwise suspicious to investigators. Mawhinney's statements included: Mawhinney stated he met Michele for the first time within the last 30 days of this meeting, the one at 4 Jefferson Crossing, Farmington, Mawhinney was aware that Fotis had been dating Michele prior to meeting her for the first time. Mawhinney stated there was no scheduled meeting with Doulos on that morning of 5/24, and he acknowledged he did not see Doulos that morning. In his second interview, Mawhinney changed his account of 5/24 to reflect that there was a prearranged meeting with Doulos that morning. Mawhinney continued to maintain he did not see Doulos that morning. Mawhinney indicated he arrived at 4 Jefferson Crossing at approximately 7:40, where he remained for approximately 40 to 50 minutes before leaving. When asked if he had contact with Doulos on 5/23, the day before Jennifer's disappearance, Mawhinney claimed he could not remember. Mawhinney denied the phone contact with Doulos on 5/24. They have phone data showing that there was a call between Mawhinney and Doulos at 7:30 something on, 7:47, and he denied that. Doulos' phone records documented an outgoing call to Mawhinney right after the dumping was done, okay? Right after they dumped all that stuff, on 5/24, he called Mawhinney. During his second interview with police, Mawhinney reported he had received a concussion resulting from a fall down a set of stairs. Boy, these guys are unlucky. They keep falling down sets of stairs, right? Pretty crazy. So he fell down a flight of stairs on the 5/25/19, the day after Jennifer's disappearance. Can you believe that? He fell down a flight of stairs the day after Jennifer disappeared. He fell down. Could it have been the basement stairs? If it is true, were they slippery? Was he carrying something? Did he stumble? Is there a hospital report? Okay. Mawhinney reported he had to replace his cell phone because the fall damaged the phone screen. Okay. Mawhinney reported he still had no memory of seeing Doulos or Troconis on 5/24. Really? Convenient, because I think you were down in the basement with him for quite a few hours there, Kent. Are you sure? Mawhinney reported he could not remember any incoming phone calls on 5/24 at 8:26 a.m. When pressed on whether he answered any calls that morning, Mawhinney responded, "Why would I direct someone to answer a phone?" In her third interview, Troconis did assert that Mawhinney had directed her to answer an incoming call to Doulos' cell phone, which was lying on the desk in 4 group office. That's a big glass table. That's what they say is the desk. In his first interview, Mawhinney had denied having any contact whatsoever with Doulos on 5/24. In his second interview, prior to any questions by detectives on the topic, Mawhinney stated, "I don't remember having contact with him, Doulos. If there's a phone call, I guess I did, but I don't remember having contact with Fotis." Mawhinney was asked if he would know why Doulos would have contacted him while dumping evidence into trash receptacles in Hartford, Connecticut. Mawhinney reiterated that he did not remember any kind of contact with Doulos and did not know why Fotis would call him while he was disposing of evidence. Really, Kent? Okay. Now, the Windsor Rod and Gun Club. On August 7th, 2019, Affiant Kimball spoke with J. Lawler, a member of the Windsor Rod and Gun Club located on East Street, adjacent to Russell Street in the town of East Granby, Connecticut. Lawler wanted to provide your affiant with information he felt might pertain to this investigation. On 5/18/2019, Lawler and his friend. See, I have another thought on this too. This grave could have been for Mawhinney's wife. I think this grave was for Mawhinney's wife. And when that didn't work out, That's what I think. But here, let's go through this. Okay, so because this was planned at least 2-3 months and probably more. They were going to off each other's wives. They were going to help each other get rid of them. And then that was going to keep each other honest. They weren't going to rat on each other because then the other one would. But Mawhinney's wife would not go to the meeting. Okay? And, she wouldn't go. Anyway, let's see here. So after, where were we? Lawler and his friend, 518. Now this is before, what is this? Shot 1 day, 6 days before Jennifer was murdered. Lawler and his friend, Mckay, went hunting on Windsor Rod and Gun Club for his birthday. Lawler explained that the gun club sits on approximately 25 acres of wooded land in East Granby. The entry to the club is secured by fencing and a logging chain, and only the current 5 members are supposed to have access to the property. As Lawler and Mckay were walking through the woods, they came upon an area of disturbed ground, and when they looked closer, they uncovered 2 barbecue grill grates which had been placed over a hole dug into the ground. Small branches and leaves had been placed on the grill grates to hide the pit beneath. The hole dimensions were approximately 2 feet wide, 6 feet long, and 3 feet deep. Lawler stated he is just under 6 foot tall and that he would have laid down in the hole. Lawler described the hole as 100% a human grave. Inside the hole, Lawler found a blue tarp and 2 unopened bags of lime. Mckay had remarked, "What's the lime for?" Lawler had answered, for trying to rid of a body. To this, Mckay responded, "Well, that means someone has to be missing." But the 2 men were unaware of any missing persons. That just strikes me. Well, that means someone has got to be missing. First of all, why would you say missing? That in and of itself, you could say, well, let's say you even said that could mean maybe someone killed someone. That could mean maybe there was a murder. Why would you say missing? That is just very odd. But the 2 men were unaware of any missing persons. The 2 men removed the grill grates and kicked around debris so the feature was obvious and no one would fall into it. Considering the site to be spoiled, the 2 men went on their way. That's something else, isn't it? They considered the site to be spoiled, like, oh, whoever did this is not going to bury the body there because now they know we know where it is. That is so bizarre. Do you guys think that's bizarre? It's bizarre. Okay? We don't need to do anything for this. Okay? It's just crazy. Lawler continued to think about who had dug the hole and for what purpose. He then learned that around 5:22, Lee had been on the property and had checked the hole. He discovered it was half filled with water due to heavy rain and that the bags of lime had been removed. Again, Lawler considered this curious, but as no one was yet missing, he shrugged it off. That is so crazy. No one was yet missing. Why would they have to be missing? In early June, hold on a minute, did we miss something? In early June, went out to the property and found the hole had been filled and covered, and he says this, as neat as a pin, with leaves and sticks to the point that you could not tell a hole had ever been there. Towards the end of June, Lawler was talking with a friend who is a police officer in Massachusetts. When he heard about the hole, he told Lawler he needed to report what he knew to the police. So on about 6/21, Lawler went to Resident Trooper's office and spoke to Trooper Chris Russell and Officer Stephen Orlowski. After telling what he knew, Trooper Russell and Orlowski went with Lawler to the site of the hole to excavate. After only digging down approximately 1.5 feet, efforts were halted due to hot weather conditions, and nothing of note was found. On 8/2/2019, Lawler was installing an outbuilding on the property when one of the other gun club members remarked, "Hey, did you hear about Kent Mawhinney? He's involved in that Doulos case." It was at this point that Lawler came to several realizations. Now the light bulbs are going off for this Lawler. Mawhinney was an associate of Doulos, whose wife had gone missing on 5/24. Mawhinney was responsible for the club's existence. He had found the land and helped to secure it, and he had established the club 12 to 15 years earlier. Although he had left the club approximately 5 to 6 years earlier, Mawhinney had reached out to another club member in March or April of 2019. He had said he wanted to get back into the club and had inquired how to get back onto the property. Yeah, he wanted to get back into the club without paying any dues, so I could come there and just dig a grave, and then I'm going to tell you guys I changed my mind. I can't come back in the club now. Yeah, he's a real shyster, this one here, Mawhinney. Okay, so the member told Mawhinney about the hidden key to the logging chain. Mawhinney had taken that information and had never followed up on renewing his club membership. Of course not. Lawler then went back to Resident Trooper Officer and spoke to Trooper Chris Russell, who passed along the information to Sergeant Ken Ventresca and Urafian. On 8/14, the WDMCS Troop G office, members of the New Canaan Police Department and Connecticut State Police Canine Search and Rescue Teams, responded to the Windsor Rod and Gun Club, and under the authority of a written consent to search signed by J. Lawler, detectives searched the property for signs of the hole. At GPS coordinates, blah, 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 they found a site of disturbed earth measuring exactly 2.5 feet wide, 6 feet long, and 3.5 feet deep. Surface debris, leaves, twigs, fabric from a nearby hunting blind were found well underground. The canine team searched the hole and surrounding property but could locate no signs of human remains. No sign of the tarp or the bags of lime were located. The hole was photographed and filled back in. Detectives obtained a search warrant for the call detail records of Mawhinney's phone. for the dates of 2/1/2019 and 9/13/2019, a review of the records revealed the following. On March 29th, from 1 to 1:43, Mawhinney's cell phone pulled the tower. Oh, see, okay. See, he was over there at the end of March. So they had this going on. And he was extra ready to get his wife in the ground. So he must have been digging that hole then. Okay? And Mawhinney's cell phone pinged over the tower, which appears to service Dulos' residence on 5/23 at 5:21 and 5:23. These times coincide with the time at which Doulos left his dinner party guests on the night before Jennifer's disappearance to drive to a Stop and Shop in Simsbury because he needed more meat to cook. Prior to his device traveling to the area of the Stop and Shop, Doulos he went back to that Mountain Spring Road. Before he went to get meat, he went back to Mountain Spring Road again. Residential surveillance confirmed Doulos drove onto the property of 80 Mountain Spring Road, remaining there for approximately 7 minutes. And then 5:24, 7:29 a.m. to 8:22. This is consistent with Mawhinney being present at Doulos' house. Okay, on the morning as confirmed by Troconis and by Mawhinney himself. 5:31, Mawhinney's cell phone pulled the tower in East Granby, which appears to service the site of the Windsor Rod and Gun Club. So at that time, 5:31, right? When did they find it? That's when he was neat as a pin, because then he knew the gig was up. Jennifer had been murdered. His wife wasn't going to go, and they were on to Doulos already. And he wasn't going to get mixed up in it anymore. He was probably, thank goodness I didn't kill my wife, right? I'm going to get away with this. I have this over Doulos' head now. And he was feeling probably good. I'm going to cover up that hole. I'm going to, make it as neat as a pin, and that's it. So that's why he's got that conspiracy. But I believe that grave was not for Jennifer. That was for his wife. Hey, Alicia. No, Stop and Shop is like a regular supermarket, Winter, like a Whole Foods, not as upscale as a Whole Foods, but like that, like a ShopRite. Not like a 7-Eleven at all. Hey, Tico, how are you? Hey, Cece, prayers for you and your horse. So very odd stuff there, right? I mean, this Mawhinney, and now Mawhinney can't make his bail. And you think now, right? He's probably telling Fotis. Don't you think Fotis is trying to get Mawhinney's bail? Because he's got to get a hold of Mawhinney somehow. Every minute Mawhinney stays in there, he's going to be more apt to start singing like a canary and take a deal. And don't think Fotis isn't thinking of that. Fotis has to get his bond. Does it sell lavender oil for $6,000? Does what sell lavender oil for $6,000? Stop and Shop? No. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Very weird stuff. Right? He doesn't want that guy. That guy, I'm telling you, that guy looked so shell-shocked yesterday. I think Fotis is probably like pacing the floor with his ankle bracelet right now. I wish we could get a live Google on his house. You missed what part? What part did Mrs. Hey Diana. Hi Donna. Hi Liz. Hi Peggy K. Hi Kristen. Kristen, you were in the recipe group, dear. When I went to put you in, it said she's already here. Hey Casbat. Hi Danielle. Who else came in here? Shug. Janadu. CC. Tabs. Winter Snow Owen. Kristen. So, really weird stuff. I'm trying to see what Two Scooter missed. Photos might even be watching right now. Hi, Photos. Yeah, you might be. Photos, you're probably really freaked out, right? And I would be. You're right to be. You don't make that guy's bond. He's gonna be. Hi, Effie. Tina, Sassy Darcy, Lady Hawk. Tamra. You want in the recipe group? Please remind me. Why do these people think they are going to... Yeah, I don't know, Alicia. They haven't learned it yet. Each one thinks that they're smarter than the average bear, but they're really not. Yeah, believe me, he's gonna get some bond to get Mawhinney out of there. Because Mawhinney's like, thanks, Fotis. You didn't even come through and get my wife out of the picture. Okay, I still got the lawsuit for when I sexually assaulted her, and you didn't even get rid of her from me. I'm leaving the gym. I still don't know what Two Scooter missed. Can't even see it. So, I mean, I think something's going to happen in the next few days. Troconis goes back February 7th, and what's his name? Flo goes back on the 28th of February. And I'm not sure when Winnie goes back, Winnie Cooper. He's got to want a high-priced lawyer, but he can't afford it. He can't afford it. Did I see the email for who, me? I can't even find what Two Scooter missed. Oh, you missed why he wanted to kill his wife? Well, let's show you, Mawhinney. Two scooter. Okay. I'll show you. Let me get his warrant back up here. I'm just trying to find where it is in here. It might be in, hold on a minute, it might be in the other one. But I'll read it to you. Hold on. I believe it's in, where is Doulos's? Hold on, I'm gonna scan through Doulos's real quick. Additional, see. Arrest of photos, initial. Troconis alibi, Troconis. Okay, here we are. Okay, wait a sec. Car wash. Hang on. Bicycle. Here he is, Kent. Let me see here. Oh, okay. Third interview, head direct. Okay. Here we go. So, isn't he and Doulos? I don't know. That's gonna be anything. Balance. Alameda. Gloria Farber. Hold on a sec. Jennifer's Cellphone, the 4 children, Alameda. Alameda. Oh, this is it, I think. Is this Dana? She was present. No, she's present at the barbecue. Doulos, Sydney. Doulos' financials. Okay. Here's the pie chart. Use of the zip ties. Where is his? Hold on a minute. Probably just went right by it. But there is also something. Okay, hang on. There's supposed to be a suspicious woman that the video shows outside Mawhinney's home, but we'll look at that in just a second. So here's what it says here. Okay, so last January, Mawhinney's wife told South Windsor police that Mawhinney had forcibly raped her without her consent, and she said forced sex, and he said forced sex would be her rent. She told police she was afraid for her life, and her husband had taken out a $750,000 life insurance policy with the husband as the beneficiary. She was granted a protective order. She could not be contacted by Kent, her husband, right? Mawhinney. Even by a third party, said South Windsor Police Sergeant Mark Cleverton. Police said Mawhinney violated the protective order, and Fotis was the third party. Doulos, who the wife said she never met, called her several times trying to arrange a meeting with her husband. She said Doulos told her, "I'm indebted to him," and vice versa. Yeah, see, they were indebted to each other, but he had to get he had to kill her because otherwise he didn't have anything on this one here. So he was very vested to get this done. Documents go on to say, she said Doulos asked if she would call the police, and if she did, he would be offended. The wife met with Doulos briefly, but would not meet with her husband. And she met him in a public place, not at his house. That was a few days before. Okay, see, I think that the whole plan was to kill, and I think Fotis wanted it too, that they were going to kill her first so that Fotis would make sure that this guy is not going to rat him out because his wife's already dead and in the hole that he dug at the gun club, okay? But it didn't work out that way. And then Doulos had to go ahead and take care of his, and he probably said, let me work on her some more, I'll get her, whatever it was. And let me see here. So where are we? So days later, Jennifer was reported missing. In court on Wednesday, Mawhinney's bond remained at $2 million for his alleged involvement. But wait, there's another thing. Let me see here. He had promised that he was going to get her to answer him. He'd come to the house. She said, I will not go anywhere without my attorney. And then he said, no, we don't need attorneys. You can just come to the house. I'll get him. He'll listen to me. I can tell him. And Fotis was being like real, firm with it, saying, look, I'll tell him. I'll put him at his place. I'll tell him if he has to sit down and shut up. I'll make him answer. He was promising her anything just to get her at the house because they would have killed her. And she's so lucky that she didn't go there. Now here someone said, friendships are friendships and love connections are love connections, but jail cells are jail cells, and when people see them, facing them, that changes those relationships. While it could be difficult to get convictions if Jennifer's body is not found, it's important to show that there were troubled relationships and that nobody has heard from her, and no phone calls, credit card transactions have been found at all. Mawhinney also is no stranger to South Windsor. He lives there, grew up in town. He was a hockey coach. He's a local attorney, and the statewide bar council said his license is active and in good standing. There is no public record for discipline for Mawhinney, but just crazy. So now do you know, Two Scooter? The other thing we read, I believe it's in the affidavit, I don't know where, it was much more detailed about how he was going to tell him to sit down. And now there's that, there's a funny sighting. Hold on a minute. Just wait a second. There's a funny sighting at, where did I just have that? A suspicious person. Where? Okay, here. New video is raising more questions about the involvement of Kent Mawhinney in the Doulos case, and it gives a window into his own personal affairs. The video shows a person in a black hoodie. That sounds like what Doulos is wearing, right? Holding what appears to be a bag. The person was walking back and forth outside the South Windsor home where Kent lives. Let's see. Now, Mawhinney's wife, she gave a sworn affidavit about the incident. In it, she claims the person was a stocky man who was wearing gloves, carrying a crowbar. She believes a red gas can was inside the bag. She says signs of forced entry were subsequently located by the garage door. She says police took a report, ran a plate on a red SUV, and questioned a man who claimed he was there to repair the garage door. The man said Kent Mawhinney asked him to do it. The incident was from April 15th, 2019. Okay, this sounds like he was, if we go back to the Rod and Gun Club, that was in March. So I think the whole plan, Fotis wanted Mawhinney's wife killed before his wife. Okay, but this woman better thank her lucky stars because they tried at least 2 times and something happened. Mawhinney's wife can be heard on the video calling 911, saying she believes someone was coming to get her, asking for police to respond quickly. She was under a protective order at the time from a January domestic violence incident. That's the sexual assault involving her husband. There was a protective order in place barring him from having any contact with the victim. A protective order that police found was violated when, according to court documents, Mawhinney recruited Fotis to mediate their marital difficulties. I think she was concerned or curious or maybe suspicious of the contact from Mr. Doulos. Mawhinney's wife told police she believed Doulos was indebted to Mawhinney and possibly working on behalf of Mawhinney. Mawhinney's wife also recounted a meeting that she and Fotis Dulos had. She met him at Max's Oyster Bar. She would not be very good thinking in West Hartford, where he asked her to come to his Farmington home to meet Kent, her estranged husband, soon-to-be ex, and rekindle their relationship. Later, he offered them a room, and in her words suggested that Kent and her use it to be intimate, an offer she didn't take him up on. There's no question that she was fearful for her life from her husband, said Sergeant Cleverton. The warrant goes on to detail a list of conditions Kent's wife told Fotis she wanted met before she would meet with him and could repair the relationship. She wanted him to go to AA and to get counseling. So that's even more information than we had yesterday, and this is just crazy. Okay, maybe try flirting with one lady at a time. What are we talking about? Who's flirting? Who's flirting? Somebody's in here flirting with ladies? Never give up your power. She's very, that lady's got to be like teetering on the edge right now, right? Oh my gosh. Well, not everybody knew that they were friends, just that that was his civil attorney. They thought they were smarter than everyone, remember? Kristen? There's some of this stuff in the affidavits. There's some of this stuff in news articles. There's some stuff that we read yesterday. That was a new video that apparently was released and was reported in the news 8 hours ago. I don't make stuff up. Don't worry about that. Whatever I read to you is from a real source. Absolutely, Clarice. That's scary. She was going to be the first one out. Yeah, Cece, they always think so. They're always smarter than anyone else. Yeah, don't ever go to a meeting without your attorney. Don't go to a meeting at someone's house if you're scared of your husband or if you have a protection order. No matter what they say, if they say he loves you and he's bringing you diamonds and chocolate and all this crap and he's going to go to AA and he's going to go to counseling and he's going to be the best husband, don't ever go to it. Don't ever go to it. Meet him in a public place. Meet him with your attorney. That is scary. Yes, Pat. Oh, I'm sure it will, Deborah. I'm sure it'll be televised. Oh, okay, Kristen. And I didn't. I will need to update myself with this case. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that came out in the last couple of days, Diana. Sick tangled web. Absolutely. When does the smooth part start? How many wives are killed in such a meeting? This is people that had, well, he didn't, you know, he really didn't, Fotis really didn't have money. His ex-wife had money. He had the illusion of money, which gave him power, which he thought, and some importance that he thought he could get away with stuff. He needed Kent's help, so he had to have that. Now he's freaking out. And if you're watching Fotis, I know you're freaking out. You are freaking when good right. You heard what they said? Friendships are friendships. When they're faced with a jail cell, goes out the window. I think that guy's going to be singing. You're probably trying to call everybody and their brother, trying to scrape him together, the bond, to bond him out tomorrow, right? They're hoping you don't, because the more he's in there, the quicker he's going to crack. It's a good thing you got that big gym downstairs to work off that energy. Where is the nanny that ran over Doulos' mom? Well, she's not the nanny. Let's see if we can find out where she is. We also want to find out if he stood to inherit money from his mother's death. Okay, let's see here. See now, Doulos says that his in-laws, well, his mother-in-law and his late father-in-law owe him $1 million from unpaid work. They say he owes them $1.7 million. So in December, let's say December 23rd, the day before Christmas Eve, he spoke out in an exclusive interview. Hold on.
This is Bedford's Furniture and its founder, Gaurav Nanda.
That's me.
QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise helped his business grow with real-time insight.
Okay, quiet. Where's my thing now? Oh, I can't stand these ads. You just can't put the sound down on them. Now, where did my thing go? Okay, here we are. Okay, get away. This thing. Get out of here. Okay. So he spoke out in an exclusive interview. His team filed a lawsuit. His legal team filed a lawsuit earlier this past December, alleging that Gloria Farber and her late husband, Hillard, actually owe him approximately $1 million, despite the Farber's allegations. Hold on a minute. I have to get something because I took vitamins before I got on here, and I feel like if I don't have something, then I'm going to get sick. So hold on a minute. I'm going to mute myself for a second because I'm crunching a cracker and I know you guys go crazy, so I'm going to mute myself. Okay. So, let's see what he said. Let's see. The late Farber was financially and emotionally supportive of Doulos and his business, Four Group. But he noted that the company footed most of the bill for a guest house built on the Farber's property. In a statement to the media in December, Gloria Farber's civil attorney, Richard Weinstein, said Doulos' credibility is lacking. Mr. Doulos makes a lot of claims, none of which are true, Weinstein said. Later adding, he manipulated the financial statements, played with the numbers, just as he tries to manipulate evidence. It has been nearly 7 months, this was in December, since Jennifer Doulos was last seen on May 24th. Doulos and his then-girlfriend were initially arrested in June on charges of hindering the prosecution and evidence tampering. They were rearrested again in September, hit with new charges of evidence tampering, and now, of course, now the real charges are there. He's got murder, felony murder, and kidnapping, and Kent and Michele have conspiracy. So Doulos said he has not received any information, this is again back in December, about his children's well-being since he was charged in connection to their mother's disappearance. I don't know how they're doing, Doulos said. There's no information flowing with regards to how they're doing. I love my children. I miss them. I think about them every morning when I wake up. Gloria Farber, Jennifer Doulos' mother, was later granted custody of the kids. A spokesperson for the family said in a statement that they are focused solely on the children. As we face this first holiday season without Jennifer, our sole focus is on creating a safe and joyous Christmas for her 5 children, rather than on attempting to litigate this case through the media. Now let's see what else he said. Oh. Fotis said that money often flowed between him and his estranged late father-in-law, Hillard, and that it wasn't always recorded or accounted for. Of course not, Fotis. At some point, I gave him a blank check. That was the level of trust we had. He was in that circle of trust there with Hillard. I'm sure he was. It was a family business in essence, and we were family. Yeah, they don't think so. Okay. Now we were going to try to find out if he got any inheritance right from his mother's death. See, that might not even, I don't know if they, nanny. Let's see, here's something. If this tells us anything different. The mother of the man arrested died in a freak accident when she was run down by a family employee nearly 9 years ago. Fotis' mother, Cleopatra, she was only 77, was reportedly run over in the driveway of her Connecticut home by the family's 24-year-old nanny. The crash happened after she asked the nanny to move a Land Rover to make it easier for one of her grandkids to climb in. According to the report, Doulos bent down near the front of the car to make sure the lights were turning on. Why would she have to do that? Something doesn't sound right. Something sounds like someone said, could you go over there? I think there's a problem with the lights. I need you to bend down and look and see if the lights are turning on. What in the world would that woman do that for? The vehicle was moving forward during that span of time. Traffic Unit 1 operator, not familiar with the vehicle, began trying to turn the vehicle's headlights on when she heard a noise. She heard a noise, but did not think anything of it. Nothing of it. Until she got out of the vehicle and saw the pedestrian lying on the driveway. Now, didn't they say the one kid screamed? So that means they saw Grandma. Police say they didn't believe that it was a criminal event. Doulos was taken to the hospital. She died shortly thereafter. 3 months later, police learned that Doulos had died as a result of the accident. They went back to interview the driver, who was still employed by the family. And she said, I assumed that she had moved far away from the vehicle, but apparently she had fallen down next to the vehicle and out of my sight, the nanny reportedly told cops. I pulled forward and I heard one of the grandchildren scream from the back seat. The nanny reportedly said she found Cleopatra injured and unconscious. Now, in the other article, they said she was conscious. See, that's very important, because if she never regained consciousness, she wasn't talking. The other article said she was conscious in the driveway, but it's more apt she was unconscious. Fotis Dulos was also questioned. How come Jennifer wasn't? Why was Fotis? And told cops he was in Italy. How convenient, Fotis. At the time of the accident, but he said his mother had fallen down a flight of stairs, cracked her head a couple of months ago. Before this accident, she's still taking painkillers. Then he said, I was told by my wife, so she didn't even speak to, that 3 days before, when I was in Italy, that Cleopatra lost consciousness a couple of times and fell to the floor. When asked, he also told cops his mother had no assets or properties of value. See, they asked that. That's good because it looks suspicious. That's not something you normally ask. Doulos, 51 at the time, and his gal pal, Michele, they were arrested over the weekend for allegedly tampering with medicine. Okay. Yeah, something's not right on that. Something's not right there. He said she had no assets. Did they check? She probably owned property in Greece. Who knows? He said. Yeah, people keep falling downstairs, right? And then just happens that Kent takes a bad fall, getting a concussion down a flight of stairs. Probably, if it is true, it's the basement stairs, and damages his phone. And he had to get a new phone. Hi, Stephanie. Hey, Lanky. Hi, Historic. So this is just weirder and weirder. Absolutely, Kristen. Hey, Angela. Yeah, I mean, right? He could say she had no assets. Yeah. Oh, that includes life insurance? Oh, okay. Well, no, you didn't ask me specifically. He's Bobby Brady, exact words. Oh, Gigi, it's you. The affidavits are released, but there's news articles all over. Use some Google. That's, I mean, you've got to research. It's not like all in. You could look at some of the other videos that'll give you, if you go through the affidavits, it's a good place to start. Go to the affidavit videos. There's a playlist on this case. Start with the affidavit videos. That'll give you a background on the whole thing. And then if you keep watching these videos, you'll get it all. You never fall down the stairs, but that would change if I hang out with this guy. I'm going to put the affidavits up on the website, on the truecrimechat.org, and I'm going to put up the affidavits for Megan on there as well. I'll start putting whatever documentation that we have on that site. Look for that tomorrow. 500, 503, what is that, 502? Was the grave the lawyer dug? I believe it was for his own wife, Angela, because they started after her earlier than Jennifer. And he started inquiring about that land and how to get in there, and the shyster way. He said, you know, I just need the key to get in there. I'm going to join later. I'm going to join the membership later. Yeah, he never did. But he got in there and he dug the grave. Just really, really weird stuff, right? And if you are watching Fotis, if you don't get him out of, he might have already, that guy, did you see the way he looked in court yesterday? Did you see when he was arrested? He's freaking, and he's freaking now that Fotis is in his really nice house. Michelle's in the hospital, but she can go home. I'm sure she, has somewhere to go that's nice. And he's in a jail cell, probably being taunted like crazy. Hey, Janine, the Stelladoro. I wonder, I don't think it is a death penalty case, but I don't know. I think we read that it isn't. It's going to be life in prison. Put up his pic. All right, let me get his picture. Mawhinney, right? Mawhinney. Where's my thing? Oh shoot, I thought they didn't find it in my files, and I went, hold on a minute. It's like, how's that? It's just easier for me to go over here and get it. This is crazy. I have to go through and my hard drive and put a bunch of things. Okay, yeah. This is when he was arrested after a fight. They had to get him at gunpoint because he wasn't going in. And then it didn't get better. I can't even imagine what he looks like today, but this was yesterday in court, this other picture. I've got to make this bigger. The other one was like so freaking big. Okay, Fotis. You don't have much time. He might have already been singing. They investigators, you can crack this guy. It's not going to take a lot to crack this one. Oh, Jennifer's house, that's the other thing. Jennifer's house is for sale. And prior to yesterday's murder charges, the builder that built the house said that he didn't think that the murder occurred at the house. I'm sure he was hoping he could have sold that house before the affidavits were released, because now he's going to take a big, huge hit on that. So let's see. Let's see one thing over here. So let's see, Jennifer's home. This was from November, okay? 2 months, not even 2 months. It was the end of November. The New Canaan home where Jennifer Farber Dulos and her 5 children lived before her disappearance is on the market for $2,995,000, according to the new listing on Realtor.com. So we go to Realtor.com. Yes, there is an active listing. I noticed that they changed the number of the house. Now, they've done that like with the Amityville Horror House. They changed the number of that house too. So they changed the number from, I believe it was 60, was it 66 to now it's 71. And let me hold on a minute. I'll show you the pictures. Make sure you can see them. Okay, so that's the outside. Those are the grounds. The house has been, I'll read to you what they've done to the house. Hang on as I go through the pictures. So it's 9,800 square feet. On Wallace Lane is presented by realtors. Let's see, it was built in 2015, has 6 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, and is on 2.05 acres. Jennifer was in the midst of her divorce with her estranged husband, Fotis, at the time of her May 24th disappearance. Authorities no longer need access to the home for evidentiary reasons. And additionally, the vacant home has been cleaned and is in moving condition, according to the builder and owner, Arnold Karp. And let's see, where's his thing? Let's see. Gracefully situated on 2 acres in a sought-after West Side cul-de-sac. This recently built, award-winning Karp Associates home features an incredible floor plan, high ceilings, 6 spacious bedrooms, 7 full and 2 half baths occupy the 3 floors, the eat-in chef's kitchen. I'm trying to turn pictures and then I keep losing my place of where I am. With an open floor plan leads to a generous family room, perfect for everyday living and entertaining. Every detail is thoughtfully planned out. Hip shiplap gains directs you out to the expansive yard. An elegant front hall leads you to a generously sized formal living and dining room. Beautiful architectural detail throughout, all located minutes from town, schools, trains, parks, and more. And I know that there is something where he says in here that he does not believe that the murder was... in the house. Anyway, I know I read it. I told you guys before. It was probably in another article, but this is the house. Okay, so that's that. And what else do we want to say? We want to see if okay, so now here we have something. Fotis Dulos' sister scribes a searing, let's see what she sends out here. 515-word statement to media back in July. So let's see what we have here. Rena Doulos, R-E-N-A, said in a statement that was emailed to a New York TV station that Fotis wants nothing more than to know his 50-year-old wife and mother of his 5 children is well and able to return to their kids. almost every single sentence of the 515-word statement was a question that began with the words, "Is it relevant?" Is it relevant for you to know that I have only known my brother to be just that, a loving and affectionate sibling and the greatest of uncles for my 2 daughters? The lifeline to a large degree of both our immediate and extended family. Rena Doulos wrote, "Is it relevant to point out that Fotis, from a very young age, desired to be a father, to be a caretaker, to have a big family under his paternal wings?" Rena Doulos goes on to talk about how her brother sacrificed much to take care of their ailing parents. Yeah, poor Cleopatra was run down in the driveway after a fall down a flight of stairs. She describes an avid skier who competed professionally and has been goal-oriented his entire can-do life. Is it important for you to know that I have seen my brother cry, laugh, pull amazing pranks on his friends, get determined and persistent, yet be always consistently there for everyone at all times? Are all these points relevant? Rena Doulos wrote. She finished her letter, "As the sister of Fotis, I submit to you that all these points are uniquely relevant. They have integrally shaped the person who Fotis is, the person who my children aspire to become, and the brother that any sister would want to have by her side. I submit to you that all of these facets point to a personality that, on the human level, feels let down by all the developments surrounding him, but that through 50 years of exemplary living cannot but feel astounded by the accusations and is set on both helping the truth shine, and to see Jennifer return safe and sound for the benefit of his children, not their children, his children." The comments were the first from Rena Doulos since her brother came under the public and criminal microscope. Fotis Dulos himself spoke publicly, albeit briefly, about a court hearing last week, this was back in July, remember, in which he had said he missed and loved his children. The kids had been staying with Gloria Farber, Jennifer Doulos' mother, under armed bodyguard protection in Manhattan since she vanished. Hold on, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry about that. Okay. Since she vanished, and Farber has filed for sole custody. Fotis remains banned from contact with them. Fotis and his girlfriend Michele Troconis have pleaded not guilty to the evidence tampering. We know that. Rena Doulos said many relatives and friends don't believe Fotis Dulos is capable of harming his wife. Fotis Dulos' attorney has, posed several controversial theories about her disappearance, including a revenge suicide resembling that from the movie Gone Girl. The missing woman's family has discredited that. Remember that one? They said that she had written a book and maybe she was doing that. Yeah. Okay, so we know he has one sister. Let's see if he has anybody else. Fotis' sister now defends estranged husband. Statement by Rena. So it's looking like Fotis' sister in Greece, she's in Greece, defends her brother. I'm just trying to see if we have... In September, Fotis tried to seek a psychiatric evaluation of Gloria Farber. That's Jennifer's mother. So let's see what he said there. It seems that every week the mysterious case of Jennifer Doulos becomes more and more contentious. More than 3 months after the mother of 5 vanished from Connecticut, her estranged husband has filed a motion asking the court to order a psychiatric evaluation of her mother as the two battle it out over the custody of the Doulos children. Fotis and Jennifer have 5 children together, ages 8 to 13, and they were embroiled in a heated custody battle when she went missing. Fotis was also separately involved in a legal battle with Jennifer's 85-year-old mother, Gloria Farber. Farber had filed a civil suit against her son-in-law for allegedly failing to repay approximately $2 million. Farber has been granted custody of the grandchildren in the wake of Jennifer's disappearance, but Fotis is still trying to have custody transferred to himself as he awaits trial. One of Fotis' lawyers filed a motion Friday asking for the court to order Farber to be evaluated because she had been previously psychiatrically hospitalized and because her family discussed electric shock therapy as an option. The motion claims that Farber once tried to kill herself and her husband. The troubling history of mental illness needs to be assessed to ensure that the children can be safely cared for by Ms. Farber. His attorney wrote, adding that the evaluation would be in the minor children's best interest. Also claimed that Farber has isolated the kids from other family members, and one of those relatives have spoken out. Their uncle and Fotis' brother-in-law, Admiral George Kyremis, put out a statement saying, "We have repeatedly reached out to assist with the needs of the children, but Ms. Gloria Farber has denied any contact with our family," which happens to be the children's family as well. "We question Ms. Farber's physical, psychological, and mental ability, as well as her ability to make her own decisions and care for the children." He expressed fears in the statement that Farber is being controlled behind the scenes by a law firm who routinely prey on wealthy women with psychiatric issues to charge obscene fees with questionable results. Farber's lawyers responded, calling the motion yet another in a long string of gratuitous legal maneuvers by Mr. Doulos' attorneys. This is in reference to the private health-related issue that, as Mr. Doulos is well aware, was resolved years ago. We are not going to comment further. Last week, which is, again, this is in September, the attorney representing Farber in civil lawsuits against Fotis requested he turn over all his financial records since 2017. Ms. Farber's attorney, Richard Weinstein, claims he has no obvious source of income, nor any work lined up for his contract business, and that he never paid Jennifer any child support. A mysterious person from Greece, where Fotis is from, is reportedly funding his legal fees. I bet you that's Andreas. Fotis had refused such an examination of his finances. Okay, so the money's coming from Greece, from a mystery person in Greece. Well, we found that out. That was one of the things. Okay, so let's go back to the chat and see what... Okay, so... Kristen, no, I find it looks creepy, like a haunted house. Lots of windows and doors. I once paid $5,000 cash. What are we talking about? Bail bonds isn't a joke. Whose colonoscopy? Stephanie, whose colonoscopy? Oh, your colonoscopy? Who's going for a colonoscopy? Lisa? I'm just trying to go back to see what... Dana Carvey all the way. Dana, yeah. You sent... You... Oh, I'm never on Facebook, Joker. You're best sending it to my email, Joker. I'm never on Facebook anymore. Answer your mother? Why is the girl... They won't tell us why she's in the hospital. But she walked in on her own accord. Did you see the interview? Yes, I did. Forrest, yep. Oh, you had one today, Aries? How'd it go? You gotta read up. Carolyn can't even begin. Oh, okay. I don't know. He won't kill the girlfriend. I think she might be freaking out. I don't know. She's probably having a panic attack or something. You mean Aries girl at Meyer? Okay. So, wow, that's a lot of stuff coming in. And just, I mean, it hasn't even been 24 hours since we stopped with the case. And that's a lot of other information. You say without a doubt he will kill the girlfriend? Why would he do that? Why would he want to risk another murder charge? Why? So she's not going to rat him out? Don't you think that would look awfully suspicious? I think if he does anything, he could threaten her with something. But I don't think he'll kill her. $5.57 in here. Well, $5.59. And Lisa says, oh no, Two Scooter said, would it be possible for you guys to hit the like button? That's from Two Scooter. She said, you think you could raise your arm and just hit that like button? She will convict him. I think that the guy he has to worry about is the one that was on the screen a few minutes ago. That's the guy that's going to be singing. Because that guy is pissed. His wife is still here. She's out for blood now. Okay? He didn't get the insurance policy. He didn't get the $750,000 he thought he was going to get. Now he's got a conspiracy charge. Everybody got out, but he knows, like, oh, he's saying probably a pretty boy Fotis is running around in his mansion. And I'm in this 6-by-9 foot cell being yelled at by these guys, having feces fly past me. And Fotis is over there, and I have to use a toilet that everybody can see me using. And it's disgusting, and it's filthy, and it stinks. He's pissed. Fotis, he is pissed. You better call that contact in Greece and get some bond up for this guy. The longer he sits in there, he's probably already spilled his guts. Fotis, I think you're probably done anyway. Because he's probably already spilled his guts. Because if I was an investigator, I would be there every freaking minute. And they can use, different tactics. And I'd keep reminding this guy of where you are in your gym and lounging around in your big marble shower, okay, and using your one of your 8 bathrooms in private, and you left him in the 6 foot 9 foot cell, and you think he's just your little patsy, and yeah, oh boy, they could get him. Fotis might kill himself. I don't know if he'll kill himself. He might. Not now, maybe, but I don't think he wants to live the rest of his life in jail. Not that guy. I think if his attorneys tell him that there's a good chance of that, he'll kill himself. Fotis at the day spa. He's ordering in. That lawyer is pissed. They can use deception. They can be like, Fotis doesn't care about you. He's not getting bond for you. He said you can rot in here because you spoiled this whole thing. It's all your fault. No privacy for the bathroom or the shower, no. Yeah, they're going to work him. I'm drinking kombucha. I told Jimmy to get kombucha the other day. He got me like 3 of the ones I drink, and then he got me this other one. I'm like, why'd you get me this other one? I don't drink this brand. And it's totally different than my brand. It's like, it doesn't feel like it's potent at all. He's the only one that didn't post bond, right, Alma? Yep. Did we not all hit the thumbs up? Loving your thoughts on this case, MR. Thanks to all my American cousins for your prayers in Australia. Oh, yeah. Prayers are with you in Australia. Getting rain this week. Oh, thank God. Street view. Fotis is very arrogant. Fotis is out of jail. Fotis is in his house in Farmington. I drink spoiled tea. No, he's from Greece, Clarice. How that rhymed. He's from Greece, Clarice. Aw, poor Jimmy. He's trying, Alma. You started drinking that stuff. They make kombucha here in Montana, and it's pretty good. I see you. Yeah, that's good. It's just, I think, when you have your brand, you're pretty loyal to your brand. So we had to cut him a break. He got me 3 bottles of mine. It could have been that he wanted to buy me 4 bottles and they were out of mine because they went all over the store to look for it. They didn't remember where it was. But we got to give them credit for looking all over the store for it. And then when they found it, they wanted to get me 4 bottles. So maybe they didn't have, because sometimes they run out of mine. So it could be that. So he really could have tried and thought this is the next closest thing. So let's take a look at what happened with the. Any other questions on this trial? Again, remember the hunter killer. We'll do. Do you want to do a hunter killer episode tomorrow night like we did last Friday night? I got the rest of the episode sent to me. You want to do a hunter killer tomorrow? Yes. No. No, I don't. Sure. Yes, please. Okay, all right. So hunt a killer tomorrow night, and of course we'll follow up with whatever else is going on. Baby in the well case. Oh gosh. Yes, please. No, that's what I'm going to do right now, Alethea. We're going to take a look at what happened today in court in that case. All right, so the state rested. The state rested today. So this is going to be a quick one. Though she's supposed to take the stand, right? So let's see what we got here. The teenage son of Daniel and Jessica Groves was among one of the witnesses who took the stand today. On the trial's fourth day, the 15-year-old testified that every few months he provided his own urine samples for his father at his father's request. So that's how his father tested clean and they gave the baby back to him? Beautiful. Beautiful. I thought they're supposed to stand there with someone like that and make sure it's their urine. Because Daniel was subjected to random drug testing, he testified that he saw baby Dylan with swelling and bruising on his head, said his parents explained it away. He says he didn't see baby Dylan for a few weeks. Just want to know why people like this, right? They obviously, I don't know how many other kids they had. They have no trouble conceiving, carrying to term, right? Don't do anything, obviously, to prevent something like that from happening. They're so drugged out, but they're still, going at it. I don't know. Both Daniel and Jessica face aggravated murder charges. The infant's body was found last June in a well not far from the parents' home. Well, then he really should. They wanted to say he had no culpability. If he got his 15-year-old son's urine and he passed it off, and that's the reason they got the baby back, then he's 100% responsible for this. His deception caused that baby to go back in that house. If he had been honest, that baby would not have returned. And what would he want to do? That's what I'm saying. They obviously don't want to take care of this child. Why are they trying to fake drug tests? Unless it was for another reason. Unless it was because they were getting state money and if he wasn't clean, he wouldn't get it. I don't know how that works there, but okay. So let's see. The infant's body was found last June in a well not far from the parents' house. If convicted, the Groves could face up to life in prison. It was reported that Jessica Groves was bawling during some of the testimony, up to 20 minutes for one stretch of time, which she was bawling. Some graphic photos were shown as a forensic pathologist discussed the autopsy that she performed on baby Dylan. Her report finds that he suffered fractures to his skull, his arms, his ribs, and his leg. She testified some of those injuries had begun to heal, so they were abusing him over a long period of time, and CPS was supposed to be making, a good job, CPS. Good job. Hope you sleep well tonight. Some of those had begun to heal while others had not. She estimates that it had to have been 3 separate incidents for those injuries to occur. When she received the body, it was secured in a crate found at the bottom of a well. She says Dylan had been wrapped in 6 layers of plastic and sealed with duct tape. In an interrogation video played for the jury, Jessica Groves can be heard talking to Daniel Groves not long after they were arrested in connection with their son's disappearance. Thursday morning, the jury heard testimony from a volunteer fireman who was called to help retrieve the baby from the well. It took them several hours to gain access to the milk crates roughly 30 feet below the ground. He said that once they were placed in the field, after a few minutes it began to smell. It was very strong. Smelled like rot, death, Stephen Gambill said. The court recessed late Thursday afternoon. Trial will resume at 8:30 a.m. Friday, and the judge announced he wanted to start earlier. So why does it say update state rests? Yep, the state rested its case. So tomorrow the defense will start. So maybe she'll take the stand tomorrow. Tomorrow will probably be a good day to make sure you watch. Attorney said mother will take stand and admit to killing the infant son. That the father, he's totally responsible now. Baby wouldn't have been returned if he didn't fake his urine test. Okay, so what do you think now that he faked his urine test? You think he's totally responsible now along with her, or you think they still cut him a break? She's going to say it was an accident. He had multiple wounds in different stages. How could she say that? On phone from jail, she said she didn't do it. Yeah, but she's changed it on Tuesday. They both should be. The baby wouldn't have been there if he didn't pass his drug screen. They would not have returned the baby. The only reason they returned it is because he passed his drug screen. They are so to blame. How could he use his son's urine? They should have been in the bathroom with someone like that. They should have been right there and watched him. CPS is definitely responsible too, Scooter, yeah. They dropped the ball unbelievably. The baby, he's responsible, in my opinion, regardless. Yeah, not that Nikki. I guarantee you the reason he wanted the urine had something to do not with getting the baby back. Why if they're sitting around doing drugs all day, would they want a newborn infant that needs constant attention, right? Do you think these people wanted a newborn infant that needs constant attention? We'll let the foster mother have him for a while so we can do all the drugs we want and not be interrupted. So they were probably not going to get their money. CPS did not give them a drug test at all. Shrug? Thank you, Shrug. Who gave him the test? Social Services for his welfare check? Is that who got it for his welfare check? Oh, 333? 333, thanks. The name of this case is Groves. Daniel and Jessica Groves in Ohio. No one? Shrug, why are you saying no one? Why do you say that? That they said he passed the drug screen. How come you say no one? Maybe a family member was helping financially. Shouldn't say had a baby. Wouldn't cost them anything to have the baby if they're on Medicaid. Medicaid. Medicare is the one for older people, right? Medicaid. Had to be for the state money. They probably make you take a drug test, right? If you have a drug history, or I don't know. I'm sure maybe if you get money, regardless, you've got to take a drug test. Oh yeah, Dylan, yeah, he should have been with the foster mother. That's terrible that it took him away. She told them, well, how can you take them away from these people? I mean, how can you give them back to these people? There were drugs found in the autopsy results, and the full toxicology wasn't released. The baby was born addicted to drugs, correct? Men who have drug tests can double-side tape a doll's feeding bottle to their old boy and do the test in front of staff and get away with someone else's urine. I don't see how I see what you mean there, but I'd know if it's coming from a little baby bottle. You can have faith, Jenna. They yeah, Mama T. She took drugs the entire pregnancy. She said so. She never stopped. She was tested on the reg. Your ex can call in many fake reports. Months of paperwork later, I am cleared. And then it starts all over. These people are the ones CPS should be using resources on. Yeah, right? Message to the sun. I'm not a drug test expert, but I thought they tested the urine temperature. I have no idea. Dad claimed not. You could look at that guy and see, I'm sorry, that something's not okay. I heard that she was using heroin, Lacey. She was using heroin and methamphetamines and amphetamines. Yep, Dr. Brown has finished. Dr. Brown? Oh, Dr. Brown. Okay, I thought it was never mind, a reference to something else. The bottles have temperature control monitor, do they? No, the bottles have the temperature control bottle on there. They do test the temperature, but you can use hand warmers. But why wouldn't they just say they send a guy in there with him, right? Lift your thing up, lift your thing down, let me see both sides, and now go ahead and do it, and I'm going to watch the stream. It's gross, but you know, if it saves a baby, that's too bad. That She had the money to buy them. They had a lot of stolen property at the house. That's probably how they were getting drugs. Or do a blood test. A pair of them. Yeah, Jeannie, okay. If you know, like, someone is going to put a little bottle there, sorry, because you guys are jerks and you're doing this, now you're going to get, you know, and if you're embarrassed, tough luck. Lift it up, turn it to the side, bend over and cough, and then pee. Up, down, side to side. But really, if I was in charge of something like that, I would make sure that they're not, you know, getting away with something like that. Hair strand test. Yeah, especially a guy, right? Absolutely. Up, down, side to side. Shake it around. Because they were trying a reunification. Alicia, they wanted to reunify the family. Some families can't be reunified. Let's see it. Make sure it's not fake. Come on. Yeah, I don't think he's so, you know, demure and embarrassed. He might have done a lot of other things with that thing for money or for drugs. He lied, yeah, in 12 days. I mean, isn't what they want when they, I know, Carol. I was just being extra vigilant. No one cares enough, Shug? Well, they should. The mom cared more about the dogs than the baby, just sick. Hi, Mandy. Do you hang low? Yeah, right. Do they dangle to and fro? Can you throw them over your shoulder? The father, I hope he makes me so angry. He is a liar. He is. Yeah. Now that's, I would never say not charge him. He's the whole reason that baby was returned. Who reunifies in 12 days? I know. And it wasn't even, the baby was in the hospital for 5 days, so the foster mom only had him for 1 week. Why didn't they make sure that that baby was being taken to the doctor? Why didn't they make more checks on it? How didn't they notice the swelling? Why did they let them get away with the stuff they did? Where they went in, it's so ridiculous. I think they also tried to make it sound like she was living elsewhere. Yeah, I didn't see that part, but they have cameras there in the bathrooms and Ontario drug screens. Individuals get charged. They will care. Oh, if the CPS workers get charged, yeah. You're falling asleep, Danielle? Okay. Hugs and good night. I got sick when the mother was more concerned about the dogs. That's why I'm saying, like, why do they even let themselves get pregnant unless they're just so strung out that? But then, like, why? Oh gosh, it's like they can't keep their hands off each other because they just look so great, both of them. Who knows if it's even his kid, because she could have done other things too for. And yeah, the milk crate thing, yeah. Bottom line, the baby was battered by a nasty, vindictive mother. It could be the father too, Diana. Yeah, both of them. They both didn't care less. They both could not care less. They cared the least they could. Absolutely, Mandy. Their system is broken. It's terribly broken. Yeah, Nana Mara, they are. Big time fail. They wouldn't even issue the Amber report. Big time fail. We can't let them know that we lost a baby. Yeah, Cynthia, it's terrible. Homicidal violence, yeah. Why did they have to kill him? I don't get it. Either do I. If they really wanted money, that's what I don't understand. They could have sold that baby to an infertile couple. Believe me, somebody would take the baby that can't, that doesn't, the adoption process being, that's what I never understand. You never hear that they go to do that. I don't know, Jeanette. It's maybe, like I said, they have to be held accountable. If their life is on the line, if they don't do their job and they can be prosecuted, maybe they will take things a little more seriously. I can't believe the baby was down there for months. Absolutely, yeah. It's terrible all around. Right there in Ohio, yeah, absolutely. You got the feeling the mother finds it tedious. They only cry when the older son took the stand. Involving lying for government benefits afterwards too. Yeah, absolutely. That's a crime as well. The mother is going to take the stand. She'll probably be on tomorrow, Lacey. So make sure you watch. If she cried for 20 minutes at a time today, she'll probably do a lot of crying on there. Because of because she just admitted Tuesday, and they have to determine about the husband and why she's doing this and to see if it's credible. It's going to be a fast, I mean, I don't know how many witnesses the defense has. They could rest tomorrow and have closing arguments on Monday and then done. Why did they kill him? Probably because he was being a baby and they were strung out on drugs and didn't want to deal with him, so they probably bashed his head and broke his leg and threw him and did all kinds of horrible things to him? Do you get money when you give your child up for adoption? Well, if she would get expenses and things, and it all depends, Sassy. There are some adoptive mothers that say, oh, I have to go to my appointments, I need a car. There's all kinds of things, and then some adoptive parents do get that kind of stuff for them. They're not supposed to get money per se, but for their expenses, their needs, their living. Yeah. But we're not even talking a real adoption. I'm saying there's a lot of parents out there people that want to be parents can't go through the adoption process, or it's too long or whatever, that would have paid on the sort of black market for the baby. And at least it would have gone, if it to a better home than that. But it should have stayed with the foster mother. Oh, they would have made sure if it was illegal adoption that she had the prenatal care, they would have gone with her. But they would have never picked someone like that because she's a drug addict and she's on drugs. And she's taking him constantly. So she's not even looking after the child. And I don't know too many that would just sign on with her from the beginning. When the baby's born, yeah, but I think they would be furious with her if they know, if they're signed on with her and she just continues using drugs. You know? Shug, you were sold by your parents? Oh, really? In a situation like that? Did they get you to a good family? At least? Thank you, Shrug. I think they said that the baby died sometime in March. Well, that's good then. Too bad this baby couldn't have. What happened to your twin? Did you ever find your twin? There were a lot of black market adoptions. I mean, and it wasn't all drugs. There was a lot of black market adoptions. Look at Joan Crawford. All of her babies were black market adoptions. She couldn't get approved, but no adoption agency wanted to touch her. She was a single mother back then. You were adopted by your mom at 2 months because she wanted a baby so bad. She took me home after first meeting me because she fell in love with me instantly. Oh, that's nice, Captain Kennedy. Oh, yeah, but the ones I'm talking about are they're totally illegal, Sharon. Yeah, absolutely. It's totally. That's why it's black market. But there's plenty. There's plenty that sidestepped a lot of things by bribing either, officials or just going straight to the source somewhere. The foster mom, yeah, did love that baby up. She must be absolutely, just absolutely sick every single day, thinking about like what else could she have done? Could she have done something else? Could she have done something else? Joan Crawford had great expensive. Well, yeah, that were her boyfriend. That with the one was her boyfriend that was getting them. Oh, Sharon, they take care of all that on the black market. They just make up a new one. Especially back then. But now it's even easier with all the computers and the... They just changed the name, that's all. Your husband and his sister were adopted, Judy. And the foster mother, yeah, didn't agree with Dylan going back. Right, she told them, right, and they said, oh, the father tested it, he passed his drug screen. They can go. Oh, sorry to hear that, Captain Katie. You were left at a church. The preacher took me. My parents came back and found me. They had 2 more babies. They said they needed me. No baby, sit and clean. So my mom and them to go away. No baby, sit and clean. So my mom made them to go away. There was a special on right now that had Heidi. There's a special on parents probably didn't want to break the law by selling their baby. Yeah, right. Yeah, they were worried about that. They were worried about that. Oh, paid them to go away. I got it. And what about the twin, Shug? Scheme adoptions. He was the assessor. Big story. Clarice? Yeah, there's a lot. Adoption is a huge business. It is. Hi, Montana. Hi, Carolyn. How was your pizza? They had pizza. I actually had shrimp scampi for dinner. And linguine. They had pizza. Why is the rate of those crimes so high on the USA? The land of plenty. The land of plenty. Because there's plenty of CPS cases, not enough workers, and they're falling through the cracks, and no one's changing anything, and it's getting worse and worse, and the drug problem is so bad, and you have parents like this that just keep having babies, and they're not taken care of. There's so many issues, and they're getting state aid, and they're cheating with the drug testing, and so many things. Same here, goes truth, the scourge of the earth. Yeah. Plenty of drugs. Paul Peterson is a new case. No, I know it's a new case. I said I will look at it. Yeah, no, I believe you. But adoption is a big business. First kiss. You want pasta now? Sorry. Plenty of politics, yeah. Yep, but absolutely, Stephanie, yeah. If everybody did that, did the best thing in the best interest, yeah. But anyway, I guess the land agreed to, yeah. Was there anything else? So we'll probably come on a little earlier to do the hunt a killer tomorrow. And ow! I hope it's going to be nice tomorrow. But Jimmy says it might rain. I don't care if it's 60 degrees. I'll go for a walk in the rain because I haven't. It's been ridiculous, cold and. Carolyn, I know that's my point. Instead of allowing the rich to get richer while so much is needed. Oh, it's a lot, Diana. But see, they're cheating and getting benefits, and it's not just that easy. You just can't give them benefit. Like, then you have people that just cheat the system. I don't know. It's so complicated. So complicated. Complicated. It's not something that's going to be fixed overnight. Yeah, the lake frozen. Let's hope so. If it doesn't rain, I just hope it's not raining all the time. Putting their teenage son as well in such a position for delivering urine. Shame on his parents. That can be oh, absolutely, Jeanette. Absolutely. All right, everybody. Have a good night. And we'll see you tomorrow, God willing. God bless. Good luck. Love you guys. Take care. Thank you to the moderators. Thank you guys for coming. It's been a lot of information, and keep your eyes peeled. Try to watch the trial tomorrow, because I'm sure that they will probably have her on the stand, I would think. You know? All right, let me see now. Out. Okay, everybody take care. Bye.